and welcome to My Security TV and our Tech and Sec Weekly. My name is Chris Cubbage. I'm the Executive Editor and Director for My Security Media. And let me just share my slides here. For those who might be joining us for the first time, or once again, this particular episode will be looking at cybersecurity and obviously cities and infrastructure and critical technology as we're diving into a Memorandum of Understanding between Cybersecurity Malaysia and HGC Global Communications. So it certainly fits into our cybersecurity and critical technology domain. Our panel today, we're going to be joined by Dato, Amirudin, Abdul, Wahab. Now we have had Dato Amirudin on before, episode 101, when I was last in Malaysia with our podcast series. Then we're also going to be joined by Mr. Ravi or Ravindran Mahalingam, who is the Senior Vice President for International Business, HGC Global Communications, and then Martin Ip, the Associate Director of Advanced Solutions and Services with Macroview. Now, I'm just going to go through sort of what we're doing this week, just for the next couple of minutes, and then we'll have the panel on. And as I mentioned, we're going to be looking at Malaysia's national telecoms cybersecurity and a Memorandum of Understanding between HGC and Cybersecurity Malaysia. Now, I wanted to announce our sort of partnership, and this is going to be on the 17th of December, an awards session. We've been running a Top Women in Security in Malaysia, and that is in partnership with Malaysian Women in Security, with SECRA, ISACA Malaysia chapter, and ACES International Malaysia chapter also, and that's with Bonnie Butlin with SECRA, Women in Security and Resilience Alliance. Now, that awards night, or sorry, it's not going to be an awards night this time. It's going to be an awards afternoon next Thursday, December 17th. So please tune in. We will run it on My Security TV, and Dato Amirudin is also one of the judges. So we're very pleased to have a partnership with that. Just dropped on Tuesday, we looked at and this is a really good segue from what we did yesterday, where we had Srini Bhattaprolu, the Head of Advanced Consulting Service, Nokia. We looked at the APAC cybersecurity strategies, and we did mention that we were coming up today looking at Malaysia, and then also the ICS cybersecurity incidents over the last decade with Daniel Ehrenreich. So that is now still available on YouTube. On tomorrow, on our Blackout series with Cyber Risk Meetups and Shemaine Tan, that is at midday or 9 o'clock Malaysian Singapore time, with Gregory Tohill, who's the former CISO for the President Barack Obama. So please check that out, and that is a registration sign-in as well. So that's part of the Cyber Risk Meetups. Otherwise, just go to cyberriskmeetup.com. And on Monday, we're doing live demo attacks on Active Directory security. We've got Kevin Tran, Director for APJ at Spider Labs, and Ben Moody, who is the pre-sales manager with Ulcid, and obviously looking at the Active Directory threat landscape. And if you've been looking at the news today, there's been a major announcement out of FireEye. Their pen testing sort of code has been released as well. So some news on that particular announcement. So nothing's more important at the moment than cybersecurity, it would seem. Okay, so let me bring in our panel, if I can, and we'll bring in Dato first. Dato, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Chris.
Very good. And I kept calling you Doctor and Dato, but you're both as well. I can't get it wrong, really. So pleasure to have you back with us. And as I mentioned, episode 101, when we were at Cybersecurity Asia in Kuala Lumpur. So pleasure to be having you on. I'm going to bring on, thank you. I'm going to bring on Ravi. Ravindran, thank you very much for joining us from Hong Kong.
It's a pleasure.
And Martin. There you are, Martin.
Hi, guys.
Thank you very much. So just in terms of the discussion, and we had a pre-interview sort of discussion as well, and Dato, I think I'll hand over to you first, just in terms of the Memorandum of Understanding, but also maybe an update from Malaysia. You've just come out with a new cybersecurity strategy. Maybe introduce the audience that might be listening in terms of Malaysia's current situation with cybersecurity and the sort of the new focus for the new strategy.
Thank you, Chris. Actually, we had recently launched our MCSS, we call it Malaysia Cybersecurity Strategy. This is for 2020 to 2024 for the next 5 years. We're focusing on 5 strategic pillars. That is basically what we call, the first one is called Pillar 1, effective governance and management. Pillar 2 is on the strengthening legislative framework and enforcement. Pillar 3 is on catalyzing world-class innovation, technology, R&D, and industry. Pillar 4, enhancing capacity and capability building, awareness and education. And 5, on strengthening global collaboration. So these are the 5 pillars of our MCSS, and they had identified 12 strategies, out of which there will be action plans from each and every one of the strategies. So basically, this is, I would say, a way forward for the country, since we had last our national cybersecurity policy launched in 2006. So it's been a while. And this is basically to complement and to strengthen even further what has been done by Malaysia since the last few years, when the 2006 NCSP, or National Cybersecurity Policy, was launched in Malaysia.
Is there a time frame on that strategy? I know we did cover it on our ASEAN channel, but I've got to be honest, I haven't gone through it. But how long is that looking out to?
Yes. There are this is basically these 5 strategic pillars emphasized for planning and implementation in Malaysia until 2024.
Right.
And obviously, it focuses on the 3 overriding success factors for interrelated and interdependent organizations change, namely the people, the process, and the technology. So it is crucial because last time during the NCSP, we were focusing purely on the CNI, or the critical national information infrastructure. But then for this MCSS, it goes beyond CNI. That means it's still focused on CNI, but at the same time, it covers also systems and data, as well as businesses and citizens. At the same time, combating cyber crimes. So these are some of the new addition to the MCSS, and basically complementing and strengthening what NCSP has done the past few years.
Has there been, you mentioned sort of law and sort of the regulation, and then the policing aspect of cybercrime. There has been a sort of 10% rise in cyber-related incidents in 2020 in Malaysia. It's something we've seen here in Australia with the strategy out of the federal government. The Australian cybersecurity strategy, also 4 years, is looking at a capability uplift in law enforcement. That sounds like it's aligning to what you're doing there in Malaysia as well.
Yes, obviously these are things that every country has to manage, and obviously, in fact, if you ask me, I used to attend a seminar conference, which asked me in terms of how come the regulation, or even the legislative act does not cater to the various technologies that is basically ever evolving. So I said technology changes are much faster than the legal changes.
Yeah.
Obviously the legal changes will always be behind, and this is but then these are the things that in this MCSS the country is focusing on, and to strengthen the enforcement. As mentioned just now, the Pillar 2 is strengthening legislative framework and enforcement. So these are some of the areas, and in fact, this is one of the areas that is a bit lacking or a bit low when it comes to Malaysia's ranking in the Global Cybersecurity Index by the ITU. So as you know, it's these 5 pillars. It quite relates to the ITU pillars, the team that they have under the Global Cybersecurity Index. And then Malaysia is quite low in terms of these aspects of legislative framework and enforcement. And this is an area that Malaysia will be focusing on, in addition to the continuous focusing on capacity building and awareness, and at the same time strengthening global cooperation. And this is why, for example, as part of it, we are collaborating with HGC as an international player, especially in the area of telecom sector.
Very good. And we'll come back to you, Dato, particularly maybe a bit of a background on where Malaysia is. You mentioned you're head of the CERT for the APAC CERT as well at the moment, and a few others. But we'll bring in Ravi and Martin. You're both in Hong Kong. Thank you very much for joining us. Ravi, VP for International Business with HGC Global Communications, and the MoU structure that it's a first for HGC. Maybe just introduce the audience to HGC. Here in Australia, we might not have heard of you, but obviously across the region. Introduction to HGC, and then we'll sort of dive into the MoU aspect of signing with Cybersecurity Malaysia.
Sure. Good morning, Chris, and then everyone to the audience as well. So, HGC is a 18-year-old organization in the international business, but well over 25 years as a fixed network operator in Hong Kong. So we have been firmly entrenched in Hong Kong, obviously, as one of the leading players in corporate and also consumer and also carrier business. Beyond the shores of Hong Kong, this organization that I lead has global offices around the world, including Australia, in Sydney,
Yeah,
where
good.
the initial telecommunication international network connectivity. We were known in the market as service providers who could solve problems for corporates and carriers in the emerging market. So we're synonymous for
Yep.
solving problems on the network side. Um, in the past few years, as you rightly have observed, there have been transformation in the way that we do business, digitalization. So we embarked on several initiatives a couple of years ago, from redefining how we do our software and network in software management, implementing VPN, where we enabled zero touch activation. And then we moved on to the next in the cloud space area, where services are being transformed into the cloud. So we established capabilities in that space along with our network. And now, with the move for digital transformation, an overall enterprise wish list to transform themselves, more so after the COVID situation, we find that one of the areas of ICT that is so in demand is cybersecurity. So, together with Macroview, which is a leading service SI provider, we acquired the capabilities of Macroview about a year back, and we have fully integrated that capability into Hong Kong. And then we are now taking that out into Southeast Asia, and one of the countries that we saw the opportunity, because the market size for cybersecurity in Malaysia is double digit. It's about 2.5 billion ringgit in terms of size, and we believe that this market is ready for the enterprises and also the government sector is ready for more cybersecurity services, along with the whole package of telco advisory and also the cloud and so forth. So we saw this invite an opportunity from CSM, who plays a very macro view of organizing the thought and also the strategy for the country. And for us to go into a country, if we were to do it on our own, I think the learning curve would be enormous, especially in this space. So we had a discussion and was welcomed by CSM to collaborate, and they gave us that platform in order for us to expand our knowledge and know-how and advisory. And this is how we came about to drive setting up this MoU. This is only the start, and then
Yep.
from there on, we're going to work and come up with programs of how we are going to our capabilities that we well established. Martin can speak later to Malaysia through CSM's endorsement to the private sector in Malaysia.
So you're obviously already in Malaysia as a telecommunications company, I take it, quite a strong presence in Malaysia. So it's not a new play,
yes.
It's just the overlay of cybersecurity now as a more broader service following the acquisition of Macroview.
Precisely. We've been established in that country for more than 15 years, and it's an addition to the services that we already provide today on the wide area network and cloud, and now on the ICT.
And I mentioned I'm not too aware of HGC here in Sydney, but you watch from now on, I'll start seeing it all over the place. I'm guaranteeing. Obviously, started the moment you
We're
kind of
under
hear
the
it.
radar. So
Yeah, there you
get
go.
things done.
Okay, there. Well, that's a good way to be sometimes. But again, I'll start to notice it. I've got no doubt. Martin, you've got a bit of a presentation. I think it's a good one, but given the size of the range of services, and that's the thing with cybersecurity. It's one of those topics that covers sort of everything from prevention and awareness all the way through to incident response. So it's always a big topic. If you want to share some slides and just introduce us to Macroview, and your role there, and then yeah, the moment you're ready to sort of share a slide, let me know.
Okay, actually the slides are ready.
Ah, good. Okay, here we go. Let me see how that's going to look, and I'll let you talk to this slide. I'll raise it. There you go.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Martin from Macroview Telecom. My position is Associate Director of Advanced Solutions and Services. Some of my primary focus of my division is about cybersecurity, both on solution side and on service side. So Macroview have been renowned as the primary cybersecurity solution provider and service provider in Hong Kong. Our strategy is much more related to 4 stages of an adaptive security architecture. With our strategy, view cybersecurity as a continuous cycle covering 4 stages, totally about 12 capabilities as indicated in Ghana's ASA architecture. So to address the market demand, we have developed and providing both cybersecurity solutions and service in Hong Kong for many years. Particularly from prevent, detect, response, and predict. We have a cybersecurity workforce as well as a cybersecurity intelligence to help us to strengthen our supporting force to provide relative cybersecurity solution to our customers. So our view currently in view of the COVID-19, there is a tremendous change on the behavior of our digital workers. So in the past, it will be around 80 to 20 ratio regarding the in-office and out-of-office activities. But during the COVID-19, it has been shifting tremendously to 2080. So reverse the ratio. But to plan for the future, we foresee it will be 50-50. So it will be a great change in the infrastructure, in the working style, as well as a tremendous challenges to the ICT departments and the cybersecurity professionals. So to adopt the ASA architecture, we need our security team need to be adaptive to the change of the working style of our user, adaptive to the change in the ICT infrastructure, and we have to adapt to the change so we can provide the appropriate solution and service to our customer.
Sorry, I was just on mic. How long has Macroview been around? So what's your pedigree there as well?
Well, actually, we have been in Hong Kong for almost 30 years. Right now, it's around 26, 27 years.
Yep.
We have been working on previously in that old days is a TDM solutions, time division multiplexing, and we keep evolving in this 2 decades to the IP world, and also from the frame relay world to the IP world, and now in internet world and cybersecurity.
Very good. Do you want? I think there was one more slide that you might want to talk to. Is that for you, Ravi? That one there?
Yeah, of course. It's basically.
Let me bring it up so we can have a quick look.
Absolutely. The page, one page before. Okay, I will. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So why ICT has grown prominence the national service provider to our corporate is to begin with the market move and demands for digital transformation, which in Hong Kong is several steps ahead in the service industry, and as we are leading in the banking and insurance sector, I think we have some clienteles there. More than that, we see in Southeast Asia, it's a space that we have been involved in enterprise service solution and capabilities of telecom services. We find that the market has been yearning for digital transformation. So in that space, when we acquired Macroview, we had 2 objectives. One was to fortify and strengthen our ICT presence in Hong Kong, which was already, well established, but also make available ability international and services that we produce. So while right now we have the network advancements in SDN into Malaysia, we have the cloud capabilities. Of course, the cloud war has been firmly won by the public cloud. So we play the service of enabling public cloud. In that space, we have got digital cloud migration capabilities as a service that we can provide. Therein then comes the Macroview's ICT solution. So cybersecurity is one area. It helps us to open, add, shall I say, icing to new services to the already capabilities that we provide. But on the other hand, it's also something new and a new way for us to open door to talk to our clients. If you went to our clients and say, hey, look, I can give you 125 countries today, doesn't ring a bell. But if you say, look, I can not only do your take your services, place in the cloud, multi-cloud, but I can also give you the clean pipes and protect them, and more so offer the cybersecurity services as a managed service instead of a one-off. Okay, here's your phishing software and advisory, done, close. Not in this way. We're looking at providing a continuous managed service capability. So that's vision, that's our aim. Malaysia has been very open to give us that platform to demonstrate this. And as what Dato has mentioned, if these capabilities work, we together with CSM have that opportunity to go to the neighboring countries like Indonesia, Thailand, and so forth.
Got it. Okay. Dato, how do you find that this will work? What's obviously the MoU, it's a non-commercial agreement, but it's recognising a sort of a partnership and that cross-service, particularly with cybersecurity, is focused on cybersecurity. What's the win for Cybersecurity Malaysia there? What are you looking at for this?
As you all know, Cybersecurity Malaysia, we are actually a specialist agency, a technical agency under the Ministry of Communications and Multimedia Malaysia. So we actually committed to provide a broad range of cybersecurity innovation-led services, programs, and initiatives to help reduce the vulnerability of the digital system, and at the same time strengthening Malaysia's self-reliance in cyberspace. So it cut across both public and even private sectors. We see the partnership with HGC is very valuable because they have many experience, basically in the areas of telecom sector. And then that merging, because this is one of the critical sectors that we are embarking in. And then also the same services that through their partnership with Macroview that can go across beyond the telecom sector to financial services, enterprises, etc. So this can value add to the various services that we already have. The main thing is that we can help to protect and secure the sectors, both public and private sectors in Malaysia. Obviously, it is not limited only to Malaysia. The fact that HGC has, I would say, international reach, even though we also have our own international reach, this partnership is a win-win partnership for both parties, where we can also extend goes beyond the border of Malaysia. And that's why, like Ravi mentioned earlier, we will start and strengthen the Malaysian side. And hopefully, we can expand beyond the border and go out and reach, because each entities, both entities, actually have their own strength in this area. And I believe the importance of collaboration, because I believe that in the cybersecurity field, there's no entity can do alone. Yeah, and somehow it is a borderless subject. It is something that you cannot limit only to a border, for example, your own country. So this is why when we had a discussion and we were offered the possible partnership between the two entities. So I find it a very positive initiative, and we proceed with this idea so that we also show that there is a strong partnership, public and private sector, I would say partnership when it comes to the field of cybersecurity.
Is there any else in Malaysia for things like startups and innovation? How does this MoU touch any of that, or skills development and training as well?
One of the areas of collaboration is on the capacity building, information and knowledge sharing. And in Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have a program called CCP, which stands for Cybersecurity Malaysia Collaboration Program. So basically, this is a partnership by cybersecurity with local players, the industries. Yeah? And this is how we can help build and uplift the capabilities of these local companies and even those who just wants to use and benefit from the services that have been provided. So this collaboration with HGC will help basically all parties, and in this context also we'll help HGC to reach to some of these entities in terms of getting benefit from the various services that just now Ravi highlighted. And for us, for example, as I mentioned, we also have our own reach. We are also internationally involved, both in not only in APAC region, not only ASEAN, but also APAC region, and even OIC countries. So that give the opportunities for these local companies even to reach outside for possible, I would say, opportunities that might be there for them.
I take it, Ravi, this does help your business as well. You mentioned this as a new initiative, the MoU sort of structure, but it helps you sort of take that model elsewhere into the region and beyond, I take it?
Yes, correct. So our focus is on building capacity and capability to serve the corporate sector, the enterprise. So we have two areas of clientele. One is international clientele, the local support, a one-stop shop. So you may have a client that comes from China or US who have a hub in Malaysia, so we need to serve them, international clientele. Second is local clientele who are looking for local digital services or cybersecurity services. So our aim is in the next 12 months to build that capacity consultancy experts locally. As it is, this space is highly in demand, so we are bringing this skill set from Hong Kong to be located in Malaysia, work together in the programs that CSM is developing, and then hopefully we'll be able to serve the market. I'm glad to say in the few months that we have established this relationship, we have actually opened some discussions high-value clients on how we can specific area of cybersecurity. So we are starting to see the fruit of our MoU, and we hope this will be able to transform to some higher projects and opportunities.
Well, one of the things I was going to say, maybe we can sort of close off on this, is the key trends that you're observing there as well. Martin, from a services delivery viewpoint, what are some of those key services that you're finding as quite strong in? Ravi mentioned sort of cloud and SD-WAN sort of uptake. And Ravi, I might come back to you on that adoption of cloud and what sort of trends and percentages of growth you're seeing. But Martin, around the cybersecurity services, is there any key ones that clients are really going for early?
Yes, a number of them to talk about. I'll name first of all the top 3 cybersecurity services they're looking for. The first one is about the awareness training for the staff of the whole corporate regarding cybersecurity. While corporate can procure a lot of cybersecurity appliance software to do good protection, but the weakness point is actually the human. The good example is about the phishing email, smishing, so kind of a hacking through SMS. So if the staff is not aware of any risk in terms of cybersecurity, that can be a loophole to let hackers, both white or black hackers, to hack into the corporate and cause damages and loss of data and reputation. So the first one is about cybersecurity awareness training. The second one is about the cybersecurity skill set. So apparently, not only in Hong Kong, but globally, there is a shortage of a talent pool on cybersecurity professionals. actually, Macroview is also facing these challenges in the talent market. So we built up our own CPSP program. It's kind of a graduate program to train up fresh graduate on the cybersecurity side, enabling them with the cybersecurity skills. So this kind of training experience we extended to as a service to our customers. So we have cybersecurity trainings with the various hacking scenario, red team, blue team. So this is also one of the top three, particularly in Hong Kong, to share with you guys. In Hong Kong, HKMA, the Monetary Authority of Hong Kong, has updated their cybersecurity guidelines to the FSI industry. So one of the new reinforcement is about the awareness training as well as cybersecurity skill training. So we are adapting to the market demands, and so we provide the service and find that is two of the top three. So the final one will be about the overall cybersecurity infrastructure assessment or review. In the old days, it's much more like an ISO 27000 audit or pre-audit assessment. But right now, customers want much more concrete assessment. So particularly, we have several cases that the customer unfortunately have been hacked, and we deliver our IR team, incident response team on site to help them to save the data. But afterwards, they need to review and strengthen the overall ICT infrastructure. So this kind of security review and assessment of the infrastructure is also in high demand.
Are you following any particular models? You mentioned 27,000. Is there any particular sort of model or maturity model that you're using in that?
First of all, our strategy, as mentioned earlier, is based on the Gartner Adaptive Security Architecture.
Yeah.
Actually, this reference originated in the years of 2013. But in recent years, it kept updating in this ASA architecture, in corporate charter that addressing the cybersecurity risk and trust assessment. Latestly is the SASE model, SASE. So in recent news from various vendors, they are also putting SASE as their prime focus in the design of the and strategy of the whole cybersecurity solutions. This SASE approach particularly addressing the cloud security side. The concept is kind of to put the security policy and enforcement as near as possible to the end user. So that is the first gateway and the best point to protect the overall corporate data and information.
Very good. And Dato, we'll close off with you. Is that the key trends that you've seen at a national level in Malaysia? I think sort of two parts of my sort of thinking here is, one, where do you see Malaysia at their national security awareness viewpoint in terms of public population awareness of cybersecurity? You know, is government doing any programs in that regard to uplift societal awareness of cybersecurity? And then the other ones are sort of, I'd like to get a sense of your experiences in Malaysia with sort of ransomware and BEC fraud, business email compromise. Any sort of, are those two leading trends in Malaysia like they are elsewhere?
Okay, thank you, Chris. In Cybersecurity Malaysia, we have a program called CyberSafe. SAFE stands for Security Awareness for Everyone.
Got it.
And I believe it is important to tackle the people side because, yes, obviously we need to approach cybersecurity holistically, not just a technological side, but also the people and the process side. And in the context of people, as mentioned just now by Martin, it is actually the weakest link. And it is a continuous program that we do, even during this COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, during pandemic COVID-19, a lot more people go digital, basically connected themselves. And in fact, in Malaysia, in Cyber 999 Help Center at Cybersecurity Malaysia, during the first period of our Movement Control Order, the MCO, which started in 18 March till 7 of April, our Cyber 999 has recorded a total of about 838 cyber incidents reported to us, and this is actually an increase, I think, close to about 80% for the same period last year, which was only 459 incidents. And the same thing, even in the first 6 months of the total from January to June 2020, we received we'll say incidents of about 6,514 as of June, compared to the same period, January to June, of 4,457 incidents only. So basically, it reflects increase in the cybersecurity incidents reported by the internet users to us, and I believe these incidents increase. The incidents reported to us increased because of the increased usage of the technologies. Yeah, basically the increased usage of the internet, the social media, the online meeting, etc. And obviously with more opportunities by these attackers to take using the global theme of COVID-19. So I would believe the trending types, the trending primary concern that we can see with regards to cybersecurity is actually COVID-19 forced organizations, also even individuals, to accelerate what I call it these digital transformation efforts. You know, because everyone goes now work from home, purchase online, and everything goes online. At the same time, the trend of increasing adoption of new technologies, the increase in the internet users, and I mean, and then this actually also expose great risk of data exposure. So these are things that we'll see happen, and then the security issue of the use of various technologies. Who thought that last time we can have like a online conference or online seminars or webinars? But now everyone is moving towards that. You know, no longer the physical face-to-face meeting, but it exposed to this possible risk. And this is why, for example, during this period of COVID-19, Cybersecurity Malaysia has done an aggressive awareness campaign through our CyberSafe. So we have developed through our MyCert 999, we produce various alerts and advisories with regards to the various issues, passwords management, with regards to the online video conference, in terms of how the best practices, the security, in terms of fake news, etc. These are some of the alerts and advisories, and even we produce a lot of, I'll say, a regular infographics and video graphics to give awareness to the public with regards to the issues, because a lot of people have concern. For example, having online meeting, how to use this Zoom, how to use this Cisco Webex, how to use all these go-to meeting. People don't talk about it before. Now everyone wants to understand and learn about it, how to use it, and how to ensure they are secure. So these are things that we keep continuing or educating to minimize the effort. Obviously, it's a continuous process, but I believe this will be the trend, and it's a new norm nowadays to do everything online. Actually, there's as one people we used to have a sort of, I don't know whether it's a joke or not, but the statement, who actually is the catalyst of digital transformation? Is it CEO, CIO, CTO, or COVID-19? So the answer is obviously the COVID-19. Else, everything will be still in the to-do list of organization. So obviously, yes, and that's why because of that, it is now important to look into the aspects of security, because obviously this is a double-edged technology, double-edged sword. So we need to manage both sides of the technology. Thank you.
And it's, as you say, it's a process of continual development. I would have been in Malaysia in June, so it's that's been the major impact for me this year, not getting a trip to KL. But look, on that note, Ravi, maybe just to close off, I'm aware of time now. The trends in cloud computing and how that's potentially transforming a company like HGC, is it making you sort of, you've got a, as Dato just mentioned, the digital transformation, the game's on now for you as well, in terms of rolling out those services as far and wide as you possibly can?
Yeah, of course. I think the COVID has accelerated that, and it is dawned that it has to be done no matter what. In terms of the enterprise side, we have been building those continuous blocks of being digital ready to serve. So transforming our network, transforming how services and storage are being collocated, it's the whole ecosystem. So we have all that front end. We've done it well in Hong Kong. The conversations that we have with corporates now, with the big corporates or the middle range corporates, they do not have the sort of IT savvy experts who go to the Amazons or Microsoft and do it yourself capability. They need an advisory, a system integration of sort. And this is where an ICT such as us comes, because an ICT solution is at the top, is the key, but at the bottom, you need to have the infrastructure, the data center, the fiber networks, the networks, right? So coming together of all these, a conversation, which is not only from one angle of network, data center, but a holistic discussion of, let me do the transformation for you. I know it's a big torture doing it on your own. We'll move everything to IP layer. We'll grab this. We'll provide you unified communication. We'll provide you with data migration from cloud A to cloud B and so forth. So it's a whole offering of package. That's the conversation that we have now with CIOs. That's the conversation that's the RFPs and RFIs that we see these days. And we are ready as a telco to be on the front end to do that. And while having done that well in Hong Kong with Macroview and us bringing together in that marriage, we see that in Southeast Asia, it's beginning to happen also at an accelerated pace. So all those clients that we have today, the conversation is along the same line, and they say, what else can you do? How can you do this service for us?
And I think that's the thing, when you have that size and scale, you can service them for a longer period of time. So this is definitely something that we're going to be experiencing over the next decade or so as that transformation goes. So look, on that note, I'll leave it there. We could literally have talked all day and kept going. I've got about 5 more questions in my mind, but I'll stop there. Let me, if I can, here, the purpose of today was to sort of cover off on signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between HGC Global Communications and Cybersecurity Malaysia. So it's good to have Dato Amirudin back on as well. And let me just sort that out so I don't keep this off camera. So look, thank you so much, gents. I do appreciate your time. Dato, thank you very much for being a judge in the Women in Security Malaysia Awards. I don't think you can make it on the 17th, but what's the message, I suppose, in those types of initiatives, women in cybersecurity and the like? What are you seeing? Is there? I take it there's some programs there as well, in that regard.
Yeah, well, I really happy to see this initiative recognizing top women in security, and as one of the judges, I find that there's a lot of quite good nominees there. And it's hard actually to me to decide which is the best of the best, I would say. But well done, and it's good. It shows that both men and women actually play their respective roles in contributing towards the development of cybersecurity industry and also security in this country.
Very good.
So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, and I do appreciate that. We'll probably play that next week as well. That's why I grabbed that. And like I said, we will be covering off on the women in security in Malaysia, the top 10 next Thursday. So look, gents, I'm going to let you go, and I've just got some final. In fact, while you're even here, because Dato, I think you're speaking. My next slide here. There's a couple of key events in Malaysia coming up, and I know Karen will be happy that I've put these up. So SIDES 2021 is now going to be the 1st to the 3rd of June. In Malaysia. We'll see if we can make it along. And then also Cybersecurity Asia in 2021. And Dato, I think you're talking there as well. And that's in support by Cybersecurity Malaysia. That's in October in Cambodia. Let's hope we're traveling by then and kind of back to normal. So on that note, I'm going to let the panel go. Just 1 second. Thank you so much, Ravi and Martin. and Dato Amirudin, thank you very much for your time. This session, I don't know if I'm going to edit it down, but we'll release it as a podcast as well. And obviously we'll stay in touch and keep monitoring sort of the successes there, both in Malaysia, but also with HGC. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll let you go. Just for the audience, I'm just going to just finish off with a couple of events that we've got running in the next day or two. The main one is Blackout series with Shemaine Tan. That's on tomorrow with Gregory Toohill, who's the former CISO with President Barack Obama and supported by Recorded Future. So sign in on that one at cyberriskmeetup.com. And then the last one, what have I got? Oh, on Friday, I've got an interview with Fuji Fu, who's the Chief Digital Officer with Certus in Singapore, and they've just launched a smart network security. I was at Certus HQ in Singapore last year during Interpol World and having a look at their sort of collaboration sort of headquarters there, what they're doing in a security context, and obviously dealing with some drones and robotics and other types of integrated systems, or as they call it, smart network security. And I think the last one we really want to get people along to is the Active Directory security event on Monday. And this is going to be the closing off next week in terms of our events. But Kevin Tran and Ben Moody will be joining us. We'll be doing some live demo attacks. You will need to register. If you just go to mysec.tv or go to the marketplace, you can register there. That's on Monday, 14th of December at 1 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Daylight Saving Time, and the AD threat landscape. And the last one, giving us a Tech and Sec Weekly report of the day. This came out today. CrowdStrike's Services Cyber Frontlines report, and a bit of a takeaway. 68% of organisations that fell victim to an intrusion experienced an additional intrusion attempt, and traditional antivirus solutions failed in 40% of observed incidents. That's from the CrowdStrike Global Incident Response and Proactive Services teams. That report is up on the marketplace. Check it out. It's kind of the report of the day. And in that regard, thank you very much for joining us on Tech and Sec Weekly. Like I said, we'll be back tomorrow with Cyber Risk Meetups, the Blackout series, and then again on Friday, midday, Sydney time, with Certus in Singapore.